What's up, everyone? This is Betamax. My name's Fidel. Joining me, as always, is Eddie and Birdy. What's up, guys?
What's up, mate?
What's up, guys?
Can you hear me? Sorry, the mic was kind of far.
So what are we doing on this episode?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
All right, so originally we were going to do a regular crate digging
Video?
movie.
Video for your ears.
It's been a while, so
Dummy.
we're kind of rusty right now.
Anyways,
I'll take a shower.
so I lagged. So now we got kind of forced into doing something else, which I think is
a better idea.
Out. Yeah, it worked out. I came up with the idea by myself. Anyways, so we're going to do
I'm original.
a film soundtrack.
Yeah, our favorite film soundtrack. Well, I wouldn't say favorite, just like one that we really like.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to choose a favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one that comes from the heart, something that we enjoy that means something to us, or just something that we think is fucking rad.
So mine is actually not a film soundtrack. It's a TV soundtrack.
Oh.
Yeah. And I didn't really even pay attention to the soundtrack of this series until I think Birdy is the one that told me about
No,
it.
I'm pretty sure it was Eddie. Go ahead. Continue.
Was it you? Seriously. I seriously don't remember which one of you is the one told me to check it out.
It was probably me.
Because I remember him telling me about it too.
No, Brady doesn't know. It was Eddie.
Well,
I'm tight.
Either way, I was like surprised because of the series that it was coming from, which was Dark Side of the Ring, a Viceland series about like dark stories or dark history from wrestling. And for those who don't know, I'm a big wrestling fan, but I guess that's not a big deal right now. But no, like it's a good series. I never really paid attention to the soundtrack until Birdy or Eddie brought it up to me, and so I checked it out, and I fell in love with this. But what did you think of the soundtrack, Birdy?
I'm actually not too familiar with the show. I remember I caught you a couple times in the living room watching it, and it seemed pretty interesting. Especially, wasn't there like an episode on like a case relating to The Rock or something like that?
Not directly. There was an episode of Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Yeah, because he's related to The Rock.
Yeah. They're part of the same family tree. But it was about how his girlfriend in the 80s was murdered. Nancy Argento.
Supposedly he did it.
Yeah.
And then he ended up killing himself? Right?
No, he just died like old age.
So it was like...
It's a complicated...
It was kind of like a Sid and Nancy type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember watching you, catching you watching that, and then I remember hearing the music and being like, ooh, I like that music. And I had no idea they were pressing it on vinyl until I think, is it Waxworks?
Waxworks, yeah.
Yeah, Waxworks is putting it out, which is dope. But listening to the soundtrack, it's pretty dope. It's like cool synthy music,
Yeah.
But they put a mood to it, which is nice. What do you think of the show, by the way?
I feel like it's a very good show. I don't think you have to be a fan of wrestling to enjoy it. If anything, you would probably have to be interested in like true crime stuff, because it has to deal with a lot with that. Like it's
because it kind of gave me that vibe of like it was like one of those documentaries like they're like a dime a dozen where it's like documentary style, but they show clips of like paid actors portraying like the incident,
like dramatizations.
Yeah, which is cool because I kind of grew up watching that stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. But what did you think of the soundtrack, Eddie?
I liked it. You told me about it.
So it was Birdy that mentioned it to me.
Yeah,
probably.
I'm still cooler than
I'm tight.
But yeah, you texted me one day and like, have you heard this? And you sent me the Spotify link to it.
Oh yeah, now I
and I remember I put my earphones on at work and I played it. I'm like, this is fucking cool. And I remember I think I repeated the whole album like a few times throughout that week. And then I think a little bit later on you told me like that you pre-ordered it and they had it pressed on vinyl and this and that. But I had a tough decision to make when I ordered vinyls. I'm like, it was between this and another movie that I'll talk about later. But I ended up choosing the other movie. But if it's not sold out, which you said it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not.
I definitely want to get it if I can get my hands on it still. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I dig it. It's catchy.
Yeah.
Really has that like that old timey like kind of Miami Vice type of music in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Yeah, like to me, I feel like it has all different styles of synth music on it.
Yeah, and one thing I mentioned on the last Bump to Date, how I'm sick of the whole '80s like nostalgia in movies. But what I find interesting about this, it's the show is about like true crime and like wrestling.
Yeah.
And for them to have a soundtrack that sounds like this was pretty cool.
It's fitting.
Yeah, and I'm like, they should do that more often because like I really enjoy this kind of music, and it doesn't have to be fucking film from the, that takes place in the '80s to have music like this. So like, I thought that was like cool, and I've only seen like maybe 4 episodes of the show, and I like it so far. But my favorite thing is the music.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought that was cool. Like that, it's not fucking a show that like I said, like it might have events that take place in the 80s or whatever, but it it doesn't have that retro-ness to it, but the soundtrack does. Yeah,
and like it's pretty cool because I feel like it kind of, I guess, came into my life at a point where I started like listening to more like synth style music because I was never really like into it. Like there was songs here and there that I would like, but it was you actually that got me more into like liking that style of music. And then this soundtrack comes out and like it's pretty like synth heavy. Yeah. And I just fell in love with it. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste, I think, for most people. Just because I feel like, I don't know, man. Like sometimes I'll play like, just normal stuff at work, like just stuff like that, and people would just be like, "What is this?" They think it's weird just because it's like synthesizers. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I want to say like that's just like music that is like easily accessible to most people, but I don't think in reality it is. But I don't know. I mean, I definitely want everyone to check it out and give it a chance, and definitely check out the show too.
Yeah, the show's really good. And another thing that surprised me about the soundtrack was like the composer of the soundtrack, Wade McNeil. Like he's from that band Alexis on Fire, which is like it was just fucking surprising to me. Excuse me.
I think a lot of like people that are in like bands, they always try to like branch out, and I think I don't know. At one point, like everybody like dips their hands in music and is like in a band or something, always kind of fantasizes or thinks about like maybe scoring a film or something like that. Yeah. Like sometimes when I'm just messing around with my keyboard to synth, like I always think, oh man.
Do you guys ever do that?
What?
You'll like listen to like an artist or like a band, and you'll be like, man, I want to hear them make like a film score.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I used to do that a lot, like in like post high school days. So I remember like listening to like a certain band or like a certain artist and be like, I can hear this song in a scene in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've done that before. I definitely have done that before. Yeah. But going back to like the composer, he also is a singer of that band. I don't know if you remember Gallows.
I've heard so much. I've seen that name around. I've never actually checked them out.
They have a song in that one game, the Guitar Hero. I think it was like one of the Guitar Hero games. That one song, "In the Belly of the Shark."
I don't
ring a bell.
No. Nope. Well, they were pretty popular for a while, but yeah, he's a singer of that band. But it was just surprising to me to find out who he was and like what he was doing,
what direction he went in.
Yeah. I mean, you could kind of hear like, because there are some songs that have like electric guitar. Yeah. In them, and so you could kind of see. But that's pretty cool that like somebody from that style of music coming to do this style of music. It's like a complete contrast of where he comes from. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. For anybody interested, like Eddie said, the vinyl's still available. Let Eddie buy his first though.
Yeah, give me like a day or two.
But yeah, it's on Waxworks, and Waxworks, man, they've been putting out some great soundtracks.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Don't talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. But what who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
All right. Well, what did you choose?
I chose the film score to The Social Network, which was done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross of Nine Inch Nails. Which is why I asked you guys, like, do you guys ever listen to like a band or like someone that makes music? Because I remember like growing up, being a kid, like in the 90s and like early 2000s, and being like, and I would hear like songs off like Pretty Hate Machine or shit like that.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, man, this band's cool. But I would have never, like, I never thought in my head like that they would branch out into making film scores, which they did with this one.
Was this their first one?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it might have been their first one.
Who's they?
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Because I know they've done music for other stuff. Like, they've even done music for video games.
Really?
For like Quake, yeah. But I guess, yeah, this is their first one. And then after this, it was A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. And then Gone Girl. And if you notice, they work a lot with David Fincher.
Yeah.
And David Fincher is like one of my favorites too. So those two are always working together, which is cool. They also did music for like a shitty movie.
Which one?
Bird Box.
Oh, I hate that movie.
Remember that? You remember that?
I never saw it. I remember there was a big hype around it.
Man, that movie fucking sucked.
Yeah, I hated that movie.
That movie sucked, dude. But they're also responsible for like pretty like a one-hit wonder that's still fucking like kicking down walls right now.
Which is?
Lil Nas X, Old Town Road song.
They're responsible for that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that sample that he uses throughout the whole song, that's a Nine Inch Nails song.
What song?
Old Town Road.
No, I know. What song does he sample?
It's called Ghost 34 or Chapter.
Oh, that's right.
Chapter 34 or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
It's an album full of like just ambient works.
Yeah.
That they made, and like with the one song that he sampled, I think it's called Ghost or Chapter. I don't know. It's ambient work, so they didn't really name the songs. But
and they made the Watchmen soundtrack too, right?
Yeah. They also made the Watchmen soundtrack, which
the series,
yeah,
right?
the series,
not the movie. That was
the soundtrack for the movie is good, dude.
That was Hans Zimmer, so yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good.
Take it easy, homie.
I was about to fight him, dude.
But yeah, I really liked The Social Network, the film.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my favorite movies like of all time. Because again, David Fincher is one of my favorites, and then 90% or 80% of the reason I like that movie is because I love the dialogue in that movie.
Yeah.
I think the dialogue was written. I think it's one of the most perfectly written movies like I've ever watched. And along with the film score and the direction, I think that makes it one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I even used that film score to like relax, because it's so nice to listen to. You know, like they got really experimental with it, because they use like their synthy stuff and like drum stuff. But there's a lot of like piano and like orchestra stuff related in there, and it's just so relaxing. And it's really nice to listen to. I think they pressed it on vinyl. They only did like one pressing, I think. If you find that vinyl out there, it's so goddamn expensive. It's annoying. But they had pressed it on vinyl, and like I seen it sometimes like at record shops, but fuck, I can't afford the damn thing.
Yeah. So
if you're listening and you find it, or if you have it and you want to give it to me, thanks.
Or give it to me to spite Birdy. That'd be sick.
That'd be tight. Yeah, but Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, I'm always interested in what they're doing, because even in interviews, they're pretty secretive about their own projects. Like they did the music for mid-90s, filmed by Jonah Hill, and then they didn't do like a big huge score because Jonah Hill wanted to use like music tracks for that movie.
Like a lot of 90s hip hop.
Yeah, but the tracks that they made, like even then, it's like it's haunting music that I can still listen to. And they're working on a play right now.
A play?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
They're working on music for a stage play at the moment, which I'm pretty sure we're not gonna hear about for a while because of what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my pick. Also, this soundtrack came out in 2010, which was like post high school days for Birdy, because 2009 was my last year of high school.
I always forget how much older I am than you.
Yeah, you're the oldest one here, dude.
Yeah.
There's an age limit to this podcast, homie.
Yeah, you have to be a certain age to be on it.
Yeah, so get out.
No, but for the movie, I like the movie a lot too. Social Network.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, like I've said before, I didn't pay attention to the music. You guys are the ones that actually got me interested in like paying attention to film scores. Because before that, like I never really cared, you know.
Yeah, and this was the first one of the first movies, because I remember watching movies before that and just like hearing tracks off like bands that I was into and being like, oh cool, he put that movie in there. Especially that movie Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember like hearing those songs and being like, oh, I've heard those songs on the radio. That's so cool that he put that in the movie. You know? But this was one of the first movies that I watched, and I remember being like, oh man, the music's hitting me, dude. Like, the music's hitting me so hard. Like, I have to find out who this is and how to get a hold of this.
That's kind of what happened to me. Because I don't like that movie.
I hate you.
I know.
I hate you.
I know. I'm not a fan, and like I don't want to shit on it.
I hate you, man.
This film does not deserve like any hate. Like I totally understand.
So you like it?
It's hyped.
Say
and I think it deserves the hype, but it's just not for me. But I fucking love the soundtrack, because when you showed me, I'm like, I know I heard this before, and it's because like I kept hearing a lot of like buzz about this soundtrack. You know, it was made by the guy from 9 Inch Nails, and I remember I like checked it on YouTube. It was before Spotify.
Yeah.
And
because that's how I was listening to it too.
Yeah, I would just go on YouTube, and I remember thinking like, this is really cool. Like, this is awesome. I'm like, man, why couldn't this be on a better movie? But
oh my God, I hate you, dude.
That's a good movie, man.
It is, but I don't know, man. It's just I would be content never watching that film again.
I wouldn't. No, like, it's seriously one of my favorite movies. Like, I can watch that movie like all the time.
Like, okay, before that movie, I thought of Jesse Eisenberg as like a whatever type of guy, you know?
I still think of it.
I still think of him that way, but this is the one and only movie where I'm like, oh, you're doing so good, bro.
Well, okay, so when I saw that he was cast as like the founder of fucking Facebook, I was like, I'm not gonna watch this. Like, I don't care about this guy, you know? But then, honestly, you know what got me to watch it?
What?
Justin Timberlake.
Hey, get out.
Wait,
I don't know why.
Explain that story.
Yeah.
I think just
explain me that.
Okay, I'm a fan of Justin Timberlake. I like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, he's alright.
So I think what the interest for me was like, I want to see what he can do like as an actor. Because the only thing I've seen that he was in before that, I think, was Alpha Dog, and I was like, that's not really like a good showcase of what he can do.
I think he was just being himself in that movie.
Yeah. But I was like, I want to see what he can do playing somebody, because he's playing the guy who
invented Napster.
Yeah, Napster. So I was like, I want to see like what he can do. That's what got me interested in the movie.
I still think just like, if I'm being honest with you guys, Justin Timberlake is probably the weakest point in that movie.
Oh no, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because his acting is just I think it's just being Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, because after watching it, I was like, damn, Jesse Eisenberg was incredible in this.
Yeah.
And so was fucking Andrew Garfield.
Uh-huh.
Like, I was like, man, this guy is so fucking good. But yeah, like I've always liked that movie, but I never really paid attention to the soundtrack until like years later, and I checked it out, and it was probably because of you. But it's a really good soundtrack.
That's funny. It was the opposite of me.
Yeah.
I was like trying to check out of the movie. I'm like, man, this soundtrack's tight though.
So what did you pick, Eddie?
Okay, so originally we talked about our choices, and we listened to what we showed each other what we were the soundtracks we chose. But I think I want to swap it, because you mentioned the whole Waxworks thing, and then Birdy mentioned some other shit. So I think I'm gonna go with the soundtrack to my second favorite film of all time, which is the Unbreakable soundtrack. And the reason I want to talk about it is it's just because it just got released on vinyl, like what, a month or two ago?
Yeah, something like that. They released it as like the trilogy with all the soundtracks.
Yeah. So this is like I said, it's my second favorite film of all time, and to me, it's a perfect film. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, everything about it is perfect.
Unbreakable?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite films of all time.
And the soundtrack is just up there. It's equal to the film. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And I wish that James Newton Howard had done the soundtrack for Split and Glass. But that wasn't the case. So those other two soundtracks, that's the reason I didn't buy the trilogy. I just bought the Unbreakable vinyl by itself. Just because I feel like those other two, they're not bad. I just wouldn't listen to them.
Oh, man, I fucking love that Split soundtrack.
Really?
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know. I remember I tried to like convince myself to get the whole thing. And I don't know, man.
I'm going to get the whole thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I hope it just
I wish I
doesn't
could
sell out.
afford the whole thing. Isn't that motherfucker cost like $100 or some shit?
Yeah.
It's a little over 100.
Yeah.
It's worth it though, man. I mean,
I doubt
that's a
it.
good little show off piece. But that soundtrack was one of the first times, like Birdy said, that he like noticed, like in Pulp Fiction, how they were using music, and the music was like so perfectly intertwined, and it kind of stood out.
Yeah.
They put the music in the forefront.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this movie was, and it has this weird mixture of like ambient, like atmospheric music with like heavy bass and like, I don't know, like almost like hip hop in a way. Like, it sounds weird to explain. You just have to hear it.
Yeah.
Because it has like this like 90s, 2000 like sound to it, like early 2000 sound to it, and it's held up so good. Like, when I received my vinyl, I played it, and it's just amazing. And I think the standout song in that whole thing, for me at least, is a scene where it's a flashback to Dunn rescuing his wife, pulling her out of the wrecked car.
Yeah.
And it has a song called The Wreck playing in the background. It's like, if they ever made a Superman soundtrack, like that would be his theme. It sounds like, I don't know, it has this heroicness to it, but it's very emotional. Like, it's a perfect song to fit that scene. And of course, he pulls her out of the car, and he's holding her in her hands. And at that moment, like, his life changes forever. He makes a decision in that film that's just going to change his life forever. And the music complements it so perfectly. Like, that scene would not be as perfect if it wasn't for that song. And I remember I showed you that movie, right, Birdy?
Which one?
Unbreakable?
I remember seeing it when I was a kid, when it came out, like because it came out like in the early 2000s.
I think it came out.
But I remember
2000.
I remember watching it when I was a kid and being like, I was like 11 or 12.
That's all I was. And I just put it out like,
yeah, I was like, man, I don't want to see this fucking. I don't want to see these grown people arguing. Where the fuck is DuckTales at? But yeah, like what, 10, 11 years later, I meet Eddie, and then he puts on the Blu-ray, and my mind gets blown.
Yeah, man. Like, it sucks. Cause like, I remember like when I first started record collecting, I kept looking for that vinyl because I assumed like it's a great soundtrack, so they must have pressed it like at one point. They never did.
Yeah.
So now that it finally got fucking the treatment it deserves, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it and praise it, and I think everyone should take a listen to that soundtrack.
Yeah, I think that fucking soundtrack is so good too.
And if you do listen to it, just make sure like have heavy bass on it. Like, for any of these soundtracks, really.
Yeah.
Like, you have to feel it too, not just listen to it.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen that movie, definitely check it out.
Yeah. Like, that's literally like.
I think it's hands down the best superhero movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely the best superhero movie ever.
Yeah.
And
From a time when superhero movies were considered a joke.
Yeah, it was even before.
Was it before X-Men?
Yeah, it was before X-Men.
It was, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was before Spider-Man, before X-Men,
Yeah.
and those were the two movies that kicked everything off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I always tell people like, check this soundtrack out. It definitely it will be hard to get into for most people. Like I said, it's very. Well, I think there's no vocals in any of our soundtracks, right?
No, they're mostly just.
Yeah, it's all instrumentals.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think a lot of people they'll throw them off a little, but I definitely think all these records everyone should check out.
So how old were you when Unbreakable came out then in 2000? How old were you?
I was born in '90, so it was 10.
10.
Me and Eddie are pretty much the same age because we're only because I was 91. I was born in 91 in February. You were 90 June?
June.
Yeah, so we're close to a year apart.
But so you were like 9 and 10?
Yeah.
Damn, I was like 12 or 13, I think.
Damn. God damn, boy, how old is you?
Yeah. But
you could have been buying me some beer at that time, homie.
But just like Birdy, I didn't really appreciate that film or the soundtrack till later on. And I remember, it was when Netflix first came out. And I remember I was still in high school and I had Netflix, and it was back then where they would deliver the movie to you.
Oh yeah,
it had a few little instant ones, but it was all delivery. And I remember seeing Unbreakable on the list, and I ordered it and I watched it. I'm like, this is fucking cool. And like I said, it was before Spotify, so I would listen to the soundtrack on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I remember being kind of embarrassed, not to kind of listen to it, because back then I didn't know anyone else that was into movies. Everyone was listening to power violence and hardcore and all that. And here I am at lunch listening to the fucking Unbreakable soundtrack. So I never told anyone about it. I was just there listening to all this weird music. But
fucking weirdo.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad it got pressed on vinyl, and I slowly discovered I didn't think anybody was gonna want it. Honestly, I didn't think anybody cared.
Yeah.
There had to be someone out there, but not the amount of like I said, buzz that it got because of what happened. Cause I would see it all over, people talking about it, and I'm like, man, that's cool. I thought I was the only one that liked it, but I don't know. I hope it, if it does sell out, I hope it gets reissued and everyone gets the chance to listen to it, own it.
Yeah.
Play the fuck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's available on Spotify, right?
Yeah, it's on Spotify. They took it off for a while. I don't know why, and they just recently put it back on again.
And Social Network is also on Spotify. That soundtrack, and so is mine. But okay, like I said, I was 12, 13 when Unbreakable came out, and I remember liking it, immediately liking it, cause I liked The Sixth Sense a lot, and I never really had friends that were into movies the way I was. I was fucking obsessed with movies. But I remember loving The Sixth Sense, and when I found out that it was the same guy that made The Sixth Sense doing Unbreakable, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm down. And the whole reveal of it being a superhero type movie, I was like, oh, fuck, even more down.
So you saw Sixth Sense before Unbreakable?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the opposite for me.
Really?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I saw Sixth Sense before Unbreakable. But yeah, I remember liking that movie so much. It became one of my favorite movies. That DVD I have is from when it was first released.
Yeah.
The only reason I still have it was because when I tried selling it along with all my other movies, they wouldn't accept it because it's fucked up. It has some fucking wear to it. Yeah, I overused it. But yeah, that's one of my I would say top 5 favorite movies of all time. And the soundtrack, yeah, the soundtrack is so good. And I remember when Split came out and not realizing it was connected until that song started playing.
At the very end?
At the very end, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm so glad you brought that up because I went to go see Split with Eddie.
Was Fidel there or no?
I think I don't remember.
I don't remember honestly.
Because I saw
it with. But I know you were there for sure.
Damn.
Maybe I saw it a second time because I remember I saw it with Fidel too.
Because I remember me and you went, and then.
Oh no, it was the 3 of us.
Was it?
Yeah, it was the 3 of us.
Okay.
Because I remember when we heard the song, me and you looked at each other.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my! I said, oh my god. And then I looked at Fidel, and Fidel's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
But I remember I was the one that didn't notice it. I was just like, This is tight. This is tight.
But I remember when, I was like, oh my god, and Fidel said, oh shit, and I just remember like the lady in front of us like turned around like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
And I remember it's funny that we bring that up because at work there, one of my coworkers, he was like, oh, I just saw a new Split movie. I'm like, oh, what did you think about the end? He's like, it was whatever. And then like, I was like you like.
You're dumb.
It
huh?
didn't shock you or what? Like, he's like, why? He said, I didn't get why I had Bruce Willis at the end. I'm like, I didn't. It didn't occur to me that most people have not seen Unbreakable or they didn't connect the two somehow. So I just feel so bad for them, man.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the few times that I can honestly say I was fucking shocked.
Yeah, I was too.
And I literally said, oh my god, at the end. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry.
I did I did too, because I totally got that reference.
It's tight.
Dude, I didn't get it until Eddie was like I just heard him talking about it, and I was like, oh.
I know stuff.
I know stuff too. Well, yeah, that was my reaction. I was like, oh, that was tight.
Yeah, and it was so out of left field. Yeah, I remember the song playing. I'm just like, why the fuck did they reuse the Unbreakable soundtrack for this movie? Like, I had a brain fart. I'm like, oh.
Well, for me, I heard the song and I was like, I've heard this before. Like, I've heard this in another movie.
That's kind of how I was.
Yeah, until I saw Bruce Willis. That's when I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, because it slowly creeps up on you because the volume keeps getting higher and higher. And I'm just like, and my first thought was like, why the fuck did they reuse this song? Like, I was kind of mad. I'm like, this is an Unbreakable song. Don't use this in this.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That was an awesome moment in movie history for me.
I miss going to the theater.
Same.
How do you guys feel about me making a playlist on Spotify?
Oh, my God.
Featuring songs from each soundtrack.
Well, as long as it's not a wet ass pussy playlist, homie. Sick of that shit. All right. You can make a wet ass pussy playlist. This is cool.
A playlist that we all contribute to. That I don't pick all the songs. I just pick the songs from my soundtrack, and you guys pick the songs from your soundtrack.
Sure, I guess if you want to do that.
That way, people can check it out.
All right, and how about this? In the playlist, the top 3 songs will be our favorite song from each album.
Okay. And then just randoms.
And then the rest could be just the whole record or whatever you want to do. So
Okay.
Once Fidel, I'm sure he'll have the playlist ready by the time you're hearing this.
Yeah. I'll have the link for the playlist in the description of the episode.
For sure, check out.
And I'll have the link for a wet ass playlist.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, I just want to say too, like, if you're ever feel like you can't like do something, like physically you're not strong enough to do something, just play the Unbreakable soundtrack.
Oh fuck yeah, homie, play that shit.
Like, I swear, dude, like,
It gives you superpowers?
yeah, like,
you
I
can
get
fucking
shot.
lift the car up with that shit, dude.
Yeah?
No, you can, dude.
Have you heard it, bro?
Have you listened to it, dude?
No, I'm already buff.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're ever gonna go like fight someone or something, just play the
Yeah,
soundtrack.
definitely before a fight that you're not confident in. Like, you're just
Listen
like,
to the
oh, that guy is
Unbreakable.
way bigger than me.
You're
He's
probably
gonna
gonna
fuck
like,
me up,
get
bro.
arrested for murder, but I mean, at least you won't get your ass kicked. Maybe.
You guys have any final thoughts for wrapping it up here?
No. Listen to these soundtracks because they're cool. Oh, and if you listen to these, and I mean, you have any recommendations of your own?
Let us know.
Shoot them over.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're listening to as far as film scores go.
DMs are open on
Yes.
Instagram and Twitter.
Slide.
Slide in there, homie.
Sliding that shit. Well, yeah, that was Crate Digging, Chapter 2. Thank you guys for sticking around. Hopefully, we weren't too obnoxious or loud in your ear. I hope
We gotta get back in the rhythm of
Yeah,
everything.
it's been a while, so we're trying to get back in the rhythm. Hopefully,
Yeah, we lag.
Hopefully we do this.
more often.
Yes. At least 2 times a month, maybe.
Hopefully.
3, 4, 5.
What?
Well,
But thank you guys for sticking around. You know, giving us. I'm still getting feedback from people from like past episodes, and like that's awesome. Like, thank you guys. But yeah, that was it, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Mm-hmm.